Is Yang Vale here? No.
Yes.
How about we start with the Pledge of Allegiance and then move on to our inspiration if Yang comes. Okay. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
to the to the flag and to the republic for which it stands. I feel really odd. Sorry. Because I can't hear anything. I can't do it.
Gerald
Sorry.
can lead it. Gerald's got the flag behind him. Why don't you lead it, Gerald? And
Thanks.
mute yourself or not. Your call, folks.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, guys. I know it. I just I got very nervous. And I'd like to call upon Yang for inspiration. Here she is. Is she here?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So Yang,
Thank
just unmute yourself and then we're good to go. Perfect.
Oh, hi. Everyone. I'm the first one to speak. So today's topic is today's theme is a day in the life of farm. I grew on a university campus and in a big city back in China. So I never really experienced the life of a farmer. But I often heard stories from classmates who grew up in rural villages. Stories of kids running freely through the fields, swim and fishing in creeks, sneaking watermelons or corns from farms, and picking fruits from neighbors' tree. They said everything tastes better fresh from the land. They also herded buffalo, which were calm, gentle, and massive. Some kids even napped on the backs of those animals under the sun. Listening to those stories, I always felt like I missed out on a special part of childhood. The part filled with adventure, freedom, and connection to nature. I know farming isn't just fun. A farmer's day is long, their labor is heavy and often unseen, but their impact is essential. They feed communities, care for the land, and live in harmony with seasons. That's why I've always wanted to experience farm life myself. I want to learn how to plant, nurture, and harvest. I want to care for animals and understand the rhythm of nature. There are some websites where you can find farms that welcome volunteers to help with farm work in exchange for food and a place to stay. I definitely plan to go when I have time. That's something I truly looking forward to. Thank you, fellow master, the Toastmasters.
Thank you, Yang. I'd like to ask, first of all, I'd like to make an announcement, and that announcement is that the upcoming competition in the fall in September is for tall tales. And I just wanted to say that out loud, and I'm sorry for my dog this morning. Say that out loud and make sure that we discuss when we'd like to have our competition in the club. And I'd like to open this to anybody else that might have an announcement. All right. Anyone? No?
Nope. I
Okay.
guess not, Maggie.
Then I would like to turn the meeting over to Margot, as Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Maggie. I appreciate that. Now, for those who don't know, I am actually originally a city girl. However, I've lived on a farm now for 46 years, so I think I know a little bit about it. So I'd like to propose a toast. I'm going to use my husband's mug that says, "Old farmers never die. They just go off to the funny farm." And here's my toast for the morning. The king may rule o'er land and sea, the lord may live right royally, the soldier rides in pomp and pride, but the farmer feeds them all. The writer thinks, the poet sings, the craftsman fashions wondrous things, the doctor heals, the lawyer pleads, but the farmer feeds them all. The merchant always buys and sells, the teachers do their duty well. People may toil through busy days, but the farmer feeds them all. The farmer's trade is one of worth. He partners with the sky and earth. She partners with the sun and rain, and the farmer feeds them all. So thank you all for the roles we play, from growing our food to taking it on the way, from eating it here with friends so dear, as the farmer feeds us all. Cheers. So this morning, my husband left. Well, the alarm went off at 5:15, which I know to Darcy probably doesn't seem early, having been on a dairy farm. He got an hour worth of paperwork done here in the quiet of the house and went off to meet with his employees to plan his entire day. So while he's planning his day, let's plan ours. Tracy, do you have a word of the day for us?
I do. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today we're talking about farmers, and one of the biggest things they have to deal with is sustainability. They have to be able to keep their crops going year after year. Plus, on a business side, they have to be able to justify the cost of those and be able to sustain that to produce those crops. Sustainable is able to be maintained at a certain rate or level, or able to uphold and defend. Sustainable. And I'll be looking for that word throughout the day.
Thank you very much, Tracy. And yes, sustainability is actually one of the new buzzwords in farming because we want to protect the land. That's why we do IPM, low spray, no-till, and all kinds of other fun things. So we have an Master this morning, and I hear that Steve is going to be our Master. Steve, what's your job?
Well, my first job is to unmute myself. Here we go. My job today is to listen to everybody and listen for our favorite crutch words, but, and anything else clever you might come up with. I'll be listening.
Thank you, Steve. And the other person with a listening job today is Kate Orr. Kate, you're our grammarian. Could you explain your job for me?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Toastmaster, and welcome, honored guest. I am listening to our grammar this morning, and we'll report back at the end. The more we sound as an eloquent speaker, the more we work on this, the more we challenge ourselves, the more credibility we have as a speaker. And so I encourage us to use strong language as much as possible and avoid weak language. Back to you, Margot.
Thank you very much. Completing our jobs, we have 3 more jobs before we get to the fun stuff. One is our timer. President Joe Budnack, you're our timer today. Can you tell us what you'll be doing?
Yes, I will be timing everyone's speeches today. Table topics is 1.5 to 2 minutes with a 15-second buffer. Speeches, usually 5 to 7 minutes with a 30-second buffer, and evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second buffer. Good luck to all our speeches. I'm sure they will all be very sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. We do have a quiz master, which is a role not all clubs have. And Eric, past president Eric, you are now our quiz master. Could you explain your job?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest, Nicole. This morning, I'll be your quiz master. I'll be quizzing everybody, so get your earwax out. Let's pay attention, and I'll definitely report back at the end of the meeting, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. And the final major job we have for today is general evaluator. Our general evaluator is Mike Licata. Mike, could you explain your job?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and for our guests this morning, my job as the general evaluator is to evaluate the Toastmaster, the evaluators, and the overall tone of the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. So Tuesday morning, there's a for our master. My husband decided he had to get some trucks on the road. Monday night, he got orders and he filled 3 trucks with cherries and peaches and apricots to go different places. However, as they're loading the trucks, they discovered there was a problem. It all didn't fit. So he quick had to change, find a 4th truck, get a 4th driver, which meant drafting one of our sons who really was not interested in leaving the farm to go and make a delivery of fruit, and getting everybody on the road. We were lucky this time. Nothing went wrong, no flat tires. However, last week, midday, as you're trying to get trucks moving, yep, we got a truck on the road, had some problems, and instant repair time. So those are some of the challenges we face in the morning. However, our quote master, Jill Roaring, says she has a quote about agriculture she'd like to share with us this morning. Jill, could you give us your quote?
I sure will. I found this in the Old Farmer's Almanac last week. And then Margot announced the title for today, the theme for today. And it was just so fitting that I was glad the quote master role became open. It's a poem from Mary E. Wilkins who lived from 1852 to 1930. So as you can guess, the process here is going to be a little bit different than it is today. The farmer sat there milking Bess, a-whistling all the while. He was a sunburnt, stalwart man and had a kindly smile. Which to me describes an awful lot of farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Except for when they have to pay the bills.
Thank you very much. And Marshall is listed as our jester. Marshall, are you on this morning?
Not today.
Not today. All right. Well, I would share my jest about the farm that you folks have heard a dozen times, so I will pass on that. So after we got all the trucks back from the farm on Tuesday and yesterday morning, being so hot we started early, we were picking peaches. Does anybody know the difference between a melting flesh peach and a freestone peach?
Melting flesh?
Probably not. A melting peach is the one that you find in the can. Those are peaches that are grown. It's a specific variety that you can bounce that thing off the floor and nothing will happen to it. When you peel that peach, it makes those wonderful slices that you can keep. A freestone peach, while it's easier to can because you get the pit out, they tend to fall apart. So those freestone peaches tend to be the ones that people want to eat when they're fresh. So yesterday, my husband was going around figuring out which peaches were going to which location. And for those up in the Amherst area, tomorrow morning, we deliver our first load of peaches to Dashes. And for the next 4 weeks or thereabouts, the only peaches in Dashes will be from our farm. I would like to now move on to our table topics leader, and that this morning is going to be David Jones. David, do you have some table topics questions to ask?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster, I do, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Here at AM Lockport, our table topics are 1.5 to 2 minutes. So try to make it to the 1.5 mark. And also, we have to use the word of the day, which is sustainability or sustainable, which is very good word of the day for farming. Mike Florio, do you have a role? I don't think you have a role.
Can I interrupt real quick before we roll into it? This is unusual for us from a Zoom angle. If we get disconnected in the next 15 minutes, sign yourselves back on. I know that's unusual for us. It may not happen, but in the background, that's being worked on. If you do get kicked out of Zoom, please just sign right back on. Okay? Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Mike Florio, do you have a role?
I do not have a role.
I have a question for you, Mike.
Okay.
And try to use the word sustainability.
Sure.
So for Doomsday, Norway has the global
I'm
seed
sorry,
vault.
what was that? For what day?
Doomsday. End of
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Norway.
World.
Norway has that global seed vault where they could grow anything, but there's only one location on planet Earth with that. Should we have more global vaults around the world instead of
Oh,
relying on one location? And what would that look like, Mike?
well, okay. This is a pretty good one because I've heard of that global vault, and it kind of is a scary thing to me that we have to hide away seeds in order to be sustainable and survive. And they're only in one place. I agree with that. Now they're up in the north it's really cold up there, so that I can understand having a vault there. It concerns me a little bit that we have even need for that. I mean, it would be great to have those seeds around, and some of them, the heirloom seeds that they talk about as farmers, to make sure that we hold those and maintain those. And a lot of things right now are GMO. They're not the real true seed. So I'm wondering what kind of seeds are up there. And I guess it's important for sustainability of this world that we're traveling through, that we have somewhere that we could say, yeah, we could go there and we could put things all back together again. Maybe not. I mean, when our time is done here on Earth and it's no longer useful, what good are seeds that are buried, 20 miles below the Earth? I'm not really sure. You gave me, Dave, a good one to think about, because I'm not a huge doomsdayer. I don't really think that I want to believe that the world's going to be here when we get back. And I see you guys next Thursday, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike Florio. Appreciate it. Let's see. Nicole, our guest, do you feel comfortable answering our question for 1.5 to 2 minutes, or would you like to pass?
I'm going to pass today. I'm just going to listen in, but I appreciate you.
Sounds good. All right. Lynn, are you available? I believe you're available. Are you working behind the scenes doing stuff?
Yeah, I'm a little bit busy today trying to keep the
All right.
afloat here. Thanks anyway.
That's going to leave Mr. Dave Licata. Dave Licata, sci-fi movies have taught us that there might not be any farms in the future. It's all going to be hydroponics. Is that sustainable? Is there other alternatives to farming in the future? Dave Licata.
Mr. Table Topic Masters, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest, Nicole, having a misspent youth in Licata Cigar Store in Jiffy Mart, which were full of sci-fi books and sci-fi comic books and sci-fi magazines, you would always see two guys in a spacesuit up on a ridge looking down at some giant dome where they were growing their sustainable crops to keep them going. So, there's a so. Anyways, that's a picture I always had in my mind, that it wasn't enough to get to another planet. You had to figure out how to sustain yourself there, because it takes a long time. Even our neighbor Mars, we're closer to Venus, but nobody wants to go to Venus. Venus is approximately the planet most like biblical depictions of hell. So we had to go to Mars, and that's a long trip. So you had to figure out how to grow things. Now, sadly, I did not see the movie The Martian, but what saved his life, he managed to grow some stuff, because I believe he was the crew member with the botanist. He was the botanist on the crew. I just have to ask Mr. Table Topics Master. I believe that there's a big seed bank somewhere out in the Rockies here in America. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I think we have one in here as well. So I guess the plan is, after the planet is burned to a crisp in a nuclear holocaust, You have to wait for things to cool down, but then you replant the seeds. And as long as they plant tomatoes and I can make sauce, I'm fine with that. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster David. I appreciate it. I believe everybody else has a role, and a little birdie told me that Stephen might have taken on the counter to avoid a table topic, so I think it'd be perfect to call on him because this is right down his alley. I know he's going to love this question, so I'm going to pick on our counter, Steve. So in Charlotte area where I live, and I'm sure in New York, housing communities are approaching and deleting farms because just offering crazy money to farmers to put in developments. Should we have stronger regulations to prevent developers from just carpet bombing farms with houses? What is your thoughts on that? Thank you, Steve.
Absolutely. Hang on a second. I got something bugging me. There we go. Now, absolutely. We only have a finite amount of farmland to use. And if you go using it for developments, for these solar arrays, they insist have to be on farmland. You're going to run out of farmland. So yeah, we should protect the viable farmland that we have. Just to touch upon what Dave mentioned, he talked about Venus. I don't think you'd be very comfortable on Venus because the surface temperature is over 800 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's very toxic. Mars has a very thin atmosphere. Neither of those are very good options for doing anything. We may have to, but they would require a lot of work on our part so that we could survive there. Because as is, it's not very sustainable. But having said that, yes, I definitely believe we need to protect the farmland. I have my little patch of farmland out here, and you're not going to take it away from me. I don't care what you want to put in. And we're blessed with getting a little bit of rain today, which we very, very sorely needed. I actually see a puddle out there. I've forgotten what they look like. To answer your question, yes, very much. We have to protect what limited farmland we have because once it's gone, it's gone. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Steve. I appreciate it. And with that, can I get a word master report? Did everybody use the word of the day?
Yes, Mr. Table Topics Master, everybody did use the word of the day.
Perfect. Thank you, Tracy. And can I get a timer's report?
All of our speakers qualified. Mike at 1:45, Steve at 1:30, and Dave at 2 minutes. Good job.
Perfect. Thank you. I believe we'll put up a poll in a moment. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics Master. And you had some interesting questions in there. I will tell you there are global vaults. Dave, you are correct. Actually, at Duke University is one of the largest vaults of fruit seeds that exists that my husband has always been dying to go see. And in Geneva, here in New York, they do collect all heirloom varieties. One of the other things that my husband does throughout the day is take phone calls. Now, we all do that in our lives, as you are probably aware. However, one of the main ways he gets phone calls are from reporters asking lots of questions. It might be on immigration. It might be on what's going on. And we do get lots of questions to piggyback on what Mike Floria said about GMOs. GMOs have a bad rap, but I don't think anybody here has not eaten a GMO. Has anybody here had a piece of fruit in their life? Yep, you've had a GMO because they are all clones. When we develop things today in the lab, it's all done on a microscopic level. The frankenfoods they talk about really don't exist. There are only 7 GMO crops, one of them being sugar. And quite frankly, without GMO, there would be no oranges grown in this country anymore because of disease problems. So those are the kinds of questions Jim might answer as either a farmer or as the executive director of the New York State Horticulture Society. So what else would he be doing during the day? Well, he'd be marketing the fruit. Now, cherries are only going to be here until this coming Sunday. However, you get a phone call that says, how far are you from the George Washington Bridge? I'm coming on August 20th and I want to pick some cherries. Most people don't understand that the fruit today is only available fresh for a short period of time because we get things from all over the world as a global economy. So that's something else that he deals with on a regular basis. The other thing he's going to deal with on a regular basis is what's going on in the orchard. Has everybody been picking? Now, you might wonder, when you get to work, how do you check in? Have a time clock, whatever. Believe it or not, all of our employees use their cell phone. And during the day, he has to go and check and who's in which orchard and what are they picking. It's all on their cell phone sent to his computer. Who knew? I would like now to move on to our speaking portion of the meeting. And our first evaluator this morning is Beth Banks. Beth, could you please explain what Darcy is doing this morning?
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Darcy gets to be first up, and I get the honor of evaluating her. She is in the dynamic leadership pathway, very appropriate, I think, for Darcy. And her speech this morning is an introduction to vocal variety and body language. That is very challenging in a little teeny box. So I give you a lot of credit for trying this out. Her title today is An Hour in My Life. I'm very interested in finding out an hour in my life. Darcy Colby.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator, and thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Time for my daily walk. Actually, I don't walk every day, but that is the goal, to walk every day, and I do walk 5 to 6 days a week. It just makes everything feel better. And the challenge is to sustain that effort from now until I die. Can't forget my iPad with all my songs. There's always songs to practice, church songs, my duo songs, special event songs. I try to practice an hour a day, and sometimes 2 or 3 is better, but hour is the minimum. It takes my mind off how tedious walking is. Got my phone for safety reasons. And actually, my friend Corey got me this beautiful blaze orange scarf. He's one of the hunters that hunt in the woods behind my house. And he got me this so that he wouldn't shoot me. Actually, if I want to be really safe, I just don't walk when there's hunters back there, if I know there's hunters back there. Deer sightings are very prevalent, so I might want to take a picture of a deer or some other wildlife. There might be a fox or a coyote or a blue heron or a white egret around the pond. There might be turtles and snapping turtles and frogs and snakes. Of course, lots of geese. There were even 2 white swans that visited us last year on the pond, and I hope they come back and visit us again. Okay, come on, Smith. Come on, Wesson. My 2 very large, 130-pound each German Shepherds, named Smith and Wesson, love to accompany me on my walk. They just about belt me. They just about knock me down as I open the door, and they bolt out because they love this part of the day. Although I have to admit, in this hot weather, they're not so enthusiastic anymore. See this tan? I've spent many hours on the lawnmower, and I've mowed a path around the outside of the pasture and around the outside of the alfalfa field next to my house. It makes walking so much nicer. So, number 1, it's so much easier to walk. Number 2, it cuts down on the number of ticks crawling up my legs. And number 3, the most important thing is I get to see the snakes before I step on them. Spring will rise as we wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. Wait upon the Lord. Oh, I just tripped over that tree stump. I'm going to have to put a a little flag where that root of that tree comes out, so I don't keep tripping over that again. Oh, just tripped over West Smith. Smith, if you're gonna walk, you walk beside me, you walk behind me, and if you walk in front of me, don't slow down, don't hold me up. Why you ever chose me has always been a mystery. All my life I've been told I belong at the end of the line with all the other not quite, with all the never getting right. But it turns out they're the ones you were looking for all this time. 'Cause I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody all about somebody who saved my soul. Oh man, that sun is so bright. Oh, got a stick in the eye. Even giving this speech is better than getting a sharp stick in the eye. I think I better tie a ribbon around that branch so that doesn't happen again. Damn bug. I mean, darn bug. If tomorrow all the things were gone, worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American. Oh, there goes my hand in the wind. Don't pick your nose next to that trail camera. Make it count, leave a mark, build a name for yourself. Dream your dreams, chase your heart above all else. Make a name the world remembers. All an empty world can sell his empty dreams. Got lost in the light when it was up to me to make a name the world remembers. Jesus is the only name to remember. And I don't want to leave a legacy. I don't care if they remember me. Only Jesus. Oh, Froggy, where did you come from? Go on, Froggy, back to the woods. Go on. Don't step on the frogs. Don't step on the wildlife. Don't step on the corn. Don't step on the soybeans. My husband wouldn't like that. Oh, almost done. Takes me about 1 hour to go around the pond, through the pasture, through the cornfield, around the woods, through the soybeans, and then all the way back to the house. Takes about 1 hour to do that. And that's a good workout. I'm exhausted. My face is all red. The sweat's dripping down my back. But oh, it feels so good. Hooray, I did it. Hooray for me. It feels so good. And I can't wait to do it again tomorrow. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Darcy. We appreciate that. Any notes for Darcy? Since we aren't in our meeting, feel free to send her a little love note through the chat. I think that would be a way to encourage our speakers today. Our second speaker is going to be Marty Johnston. His evaluator is Carol Ann Halstead. Carol, could you please explain what Marty's doing and introduce him? Thank you, Carol. Carol, you need to unmute.
Actually, I am going to have to wait until I evaluate him since I wasn't sure that he was speaker two. So I'm afraid that I don't have the information to.
Well, I
give you
do
right
because
now.
Marty put it on the website, so I will read it for you. Okay, Carol?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Marty is in presentation mastery level 3, researching and presenting. Marty has been landscaping and working with various plants for more than 20 years. Recently, he was prompted to action when he came across some unnatural browning on boxwood shrubs. Having thoroughly researched the boxwood plant, Marty will inform the club about the plant's demise and how it may affect your landscape. So today, Marty will pass along knowledge about the boxwood demise and provide you with other landscape planting options. So the demise of the boxwood, Marty Johnston.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Could I see by a show of hands anyone that has a boxwood shrub in their landscape? I see that some of you do. Well, fellow Toastmasters, I'm glad to be here this morning because I hope to share some useful information with you. And I'm going to focus on three main points today. Definitely, number one is that the boxwood tree, it's actually a shrub, but it's called the invasive pest that infests and damages the boxwood shrub is called a boxwood tree moth. And it's actually the caterpillar that does the damage. So I'm going to focus on number one, the problem, how to treat the problem, and three, other landscape planting options if you decide to get rid of your boxwood shrub. So the first thing I would like to touch on from my research is the problem. And the problem is that there is an infestation of this beautiful evergreen shrub, the boxwood shrub, in our landscape. And it all started, according to the Penn State Extension, Cornell Extension, of the shrub in 2018 in North America, specifically in Ontario, Canada. And then in 2021 in Michigan and New York State. And what happened is instead of having this lush green shrub, the moth, which came over from Asia, specifically Southeast Asia, I sort of find it hard to believe that the data said that it flew over, but I'm more likely to believe that it came over on landscape material. But this is what happens when the plant gets defoliated from the caterpillar. It actually eats the leaf, and it's definitely a problem. The data I was looking at from 2020 said that over 11 million boxwood shrubs were sold in 2020. Can you imagine that? In 2020, 11 million shrubs. And I can tell you that one of our Toastmasters, Mary Elizabeth Cavanero, who used to live across the street from me, has some in her yard where she used to live. I have some in my yard where I live in Niagara Falls, and I saw by a show of hands that there are some of you that have them. The problem, as I said, is that in the caterpillar stage, the caterpillar feeds on this green, and what it does, it defoliates it and eats the green, and then it leaves behind clumps of defoliated material, and it browns out the plant. And then at some point in time, the larva actually gets into the bark of the plant, and it girdles the plant, and it strips away and prevents nutrients from getting into the plant to help the plant thrive and grow to the lush green, beautiful plant that it's capable of being. Some of you may wonder, which brings us to my second point, how do you treat this problem? Well, there are a number of ways, and I did speak to John from the local Niagara County Cornell Cooperative Extension Office on Lake Avenue, and he told me that there are a couple things you can do. He said, when you see that there's the plant starting to brown out, immediately treat it. And there are a couple things that you can do. You can use what's called Liquid 7, SEVIN, and I tend to go organic, as our Toastmaster Margot mentioned about organics. I like to use this, it's called Captain Jack's Fruit Tree Spray, and it's available at Clyde's Feed Store in Wright's Corner, which is just north outside of Lockport. And what you need to do is you need to spray that as soon as you see that you have the problem. And what that does, it tends to keep the caterpillar the caterpillar at bay, and hopefully it'll kill them. But they are definitely a feisty species. They're definitely a feisty pest, I should say. The other thing that you can do, I learned from my brother Dan Johnston, who's been in landscaping for over 30 years, is to take your hand and gently comb through the plant. But prior to doing that, set out some type of tarp or cloth on the ground to catch all this material, because you don't want this material, which may have eggs in it from a prior season, to land on the ground, and they may grow and may turn into caterpillar, and it could do more damage the following season. But my brother Dan has had success with that. But then you also, I would recommend following up with spraying the plant. And after you spray it the first time, John from Cornell Extension told me that you have to retreat it within 1 to 2 weeks. And I did that. I did have some success, but you have to be very vigilant in order to protect this and have the plant sustain its life, because it is such a beautiful plant. Which brings me to the third main point in my presentation, is other landscape planting options. I can tell you for a fact that I had to dig out over a dozen of these beautiful boxwood shrubs from my sister-in-law Karen's house out by the Niagara Community College, and it was a major chore, trust me. You can dig them out. I know that for certain Boca Farms, who's in the outside of the Lockport, it's a local nursery, they do not carry the boxwood shrub anymore because of the invasive pest. But you can plant what's called a dwarf arborvitae, or some options of hollies, which are resistant to the box tree moth in the infestation. So fellow Toastmasters, now that you know a little bit more about the box tree moth and its demise, I wish you the best on your trying to help sustain its longevity in your landscape. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Marty. Very educational. Our third speaker today, stepping in as alternate speaker since Maggie spoke last week, will be Marty Johnston. And his evaluator is Mary Cavanero. Mary, do you have his information? Can you introduce him?
You mean I'm evaluating Dr. Gerald?
Yes.
So,
do you have the information, or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, Eric just gave me some information, but I don't have a lot of it.
Oh.
Go ahead with what you have.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Margot, you muted, just so you know.
Sorry, I was trying to give Mary the chance to speak. So thank you, Mike.
Mary
Gerald
started.
is going to be speaking from Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 2 Level 1 Option 2 Intro to Vocal Variety. Oh, 2 vocal variety speeches today. His speech title is Famous Movie TV Speeches, and his introduction is a question. Can you guess what movies they're from? Gerald Stevens.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. There are many things I find inspiring. I find people that overcome adversity inspiring. People come from nowhere and become something amazing inspiring. And I find nature inspiring. But I also find some passages from certain movies and TV inspiring. Sometimes I'll go on YouTube and just listen to them when I need a little pick-me-up. My kids find all this positivity crazy. They're like, yeah, you're Mr. Positivity. Why is that? I'm like, well, because so many inspiring things in life, right? So I'm going to share a few passages today, and wait to the end, if you could, please, before you guess what movie. Some of them are not easy, but some of them are. So we'll see how many I get in today. First one. Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. You've earned here tonight. One game. If you played them 10 times, you might win 9. But not this game. Not tonight. Tonight, we're going to skate with them. Tonight, we're going to stay with them. We will shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to be hockey players, every one of you. And you are meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. Over. I'm sick and tired of hearing how great the Soviets have. Team. Screw them. This is your time. Now get out there and take it. Any guesses? Sports fan?
Miracle on Ice.
Nice. I knew some sports fan would get that for sure. Well done. Well done. My second passage from movie. Look around you in the 7th Cavalry. We have a captain from the Ukraine, another from Puerto Rico. We have Japanese, Chinese, Blacks, Hispanics, Cherokee Indians, Jews, and Gentiles, all Americans. Now here in the States, some of you in this unit may have experienced discrimination because of race or creed. But for you and me, this is all gone. We're moving into the shadow of death. You will watch the back of the man next to you, and he will watch yours. You will not care what color he is or by what name he calls God. They say we're leaving home. We're going to what home is supposed to be. Now let's understand the situation. We're going to in a battle against a tough, determined enemy. I can't promise you that I will bring you all home alive. But this I swear before you and mighty God, that when we go into battle, I will be the first to set foot on the field, and I will be the last to step off. I will leave no one behind. Dead or alive, we all come home together. So help me God. Any guesses?
It's that Vietnam one.
Band of Brothers.
No.
Mel
It is a
Gibson.
Vietnam one. You are absolutely right, Dave.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, yes.
I don't remember the movie.
It's called We Were Soldiers.
Ah.
So a little bit tougher one here. Here's an easy one that I know everybody will get. I am William Wallace. I see the whole army of my countrymen in defiance of tyranny. You come to fight as free men, and free men you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? Aye, fight. You may die, run, live. You might for a little while, but dying in your bed years from now, will you trade all those days from this day for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell your enemies they may take your lives, but they never take your freedom? I know you know this one. What is it?
Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now from the genre of TV, a little bit longer one. Many times in recent history, America's destiny is not for our own choosing. We will not seek, nor do we provoke an assault of freedom on our way of life. We did not expect, or did we invite a confrontation with evil. Yet the true measure of people's strength is how to rise to the moment when it does arrive. 43 people were killed in a couple hours at Kennesaw State University. Three swimmers from the men's team were killed. 2 are in critical condition when they heard an explosion from their practice facility and ran into the fire to get people out. There are students, teachers, and our parents and friends. So the streets of heaven are crowded tonight with angels, my friends. We rise to meet the capacity. We look up and we're reminded the capacity may well be limitless. This is a time for American heroes. We will do what is hard. We will achieve what is great. God bless their memory. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. TV. West Wing. Amazing speeches in West Wing. And I have one left to leave for you today, because I want you to think about, as you go out today, what's inspiring to you. And these things were inspiring to me. So I'll leave you with one last quote, and you can put in the chat what you think it might be. You got to dream. You got to protect it. People can't do something for themselves. They want to tell you you can't. And if you want something, go get it, period. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. I would now like to call for a timers report. Joe, how did our 3 speakers do?
All 3 of our speakers qualified. Darcy at 5:10, Marty at 6:25, and Gerald at 6:15. Good job.
Thank you very much. So while Len is preparing the poll, I'm also going to change what I did and riff off what I've heard this morning. It was mentioned that farmland needs to be protected. My husband's very fond of saying that when he has his farm, there are 3 crops he's always going to make a profit on: houses, solar, or anything that include labor, such as corn and soybeans, because you have to understand 60% of our costs on a fruit farm are labor. But we do want to protect the land. So we are just finishing up the paperwork, which is at the end of every single day, all kinds of paperwork, just like any other job, to put our land, some of our land, in the Land Conservancy. So we are putting, of our 400 acres, I believe it's about 10%, which I know doesn't sound like a lot. However, it is almost all lake frontage. So that will be preserved for future generations, because we do have our sons who hopefully will be continuing to farm in the future. So some of the other paperwork he does, other than going through all those the payroll things, he has to keep track of what he has harvested that day, what is in the cold storage, what is going out on the truck. And if it is a day that we've done any spraying, fertilizing, protecting our crops, there is a record we keep of exactly what we sprayed, where we sprayed it, who sprayed it, time of day, weather conditions, and anything else you think you might want to know about what it is we do on our farm. That being said, before we get to our evening time, I think we should hear from some evaluators. So Beth, I would like to invite you to do your evaluation first.
Thank you, Margot. What a great morning here. I think Darcy very successfully woke us up. If you weren't awake before, you were awake after. I loved all the props. I always have to say something to the speakers that I evaluate. If they use props, that really does affect how your speech goes, how interesting it is. So that's something I love. I was very impressed with the hand gestures, her body language. It's really very difficult to do that in a little box. So she did a really nice job there. Love that. I do have a couple things for her to work on. One is the technology. I don't know if anyone else noticed, but there were times when it seemed like you were vibrating. I don't know if you're using your phone and it was moving. I'm not exactly sure, but it looked a little like that. And it also looked like there were times when you were rocking. I'm not sure about that. There were times when it appeared that you were looking down to your left. And I think that was just checking on your notes. So just be aware of that. Be aware of your time, because you could have slowed down a little. And because you had plenty of time. It was a 5 to 7 minute speech. You went over just a little 5 minutes. So you did have some time. I myself find it difficult to slow down. So I certainly understand that. I think the best part of your speech was you made me laugh. I really needed a laugh this morning. So personally, that was a really wonderful thing. If you add humor to a speech, people tend to be more interested. They pay attention more, listen more. So that's always a good thing. Some of your details you added, how large your dogs were, all that was really, I liked that too. I like those details. So in my opinion, you gave a very, very good speech, Darcy. Keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beth. Our second evaluator today is Carol. Carol, could you give us an evaluation, please, of Marty's speech?
Marty gave a very well-researched speech. I wasn't familiar with the boxwood at all, and I certainly gleaned some information from that. Marty was right in the middle of his screen. He did well with that. There were a couple times when he came forward a little, but he also was able to, in the limited space, show us what the healthy boxwood looked like and what the not so healthy was. He told us all about what the problem would be and what to do about it. His speech progressed through very smoothly. He had very few hesitations, and he is, of course, being a DTM, he is always a very interesting speaker and picks topics that maybe are just such a variety of topics he always has. And again, with that, he was able to just tell us any information we'd ever wanted to know about the boxwood. The not too much improvement can I suggest for him, other than just maintaining his position in the screen. And I think he shows a lot of expression, and it was a very interesting, informative speech this morning. And okay, I have completed my evaluation. I would like to make a comment, since I'm married to a farmer who also, before retirement, had a full-time day job and then went to the farm after that. We had many late suppers, but it is, and I thought as a city girl that it was planted in the spring, picked in the fall, but then I found out there's some daily maintenance involved. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. And moving on to our third evaluator, Mary. Mary, could you give us your impressions of Gerald's speech?
So Gerald started out with a very good speech, and everybody seemed to know his movie quotes. He excelled on knowing the famous movie quotes. You know your quotes. You did very good with your time. Your volume was good, and you excelled with no mumbling. It's hard to pick on him for something that he might want to work on, but next time when he does this speech, He might want to try to use a different pitch for next time. You might want to challenge yourself at doing a different speech on movies in the future, using different tone of voice, and you should use more vocal variety. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Mary. Evaluations are tough. You're growing every day. Mr. Timer, could you give us your final timers report, please?
Yes, I can. All three of our evaluators qualified. Beth at 2 minutes, Carol Ann at 2:20, and Mary at 2 minutes too also. Good job.
Thank you. So part of farming, as Carol Ann noted, it is a 24-hour day. And in fact, Jim and I have a running gag that both of us can do our businesses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as it's okay with our spouse and the bank. Because that's what we do all day long. We think about what's going on. We think about marketing. This time of year, we've been invited to various Zoom meetings and things at like 9 o'clock at night. Since the alarm goes off at 5 o'clock, I'm sure you can imagine what Jim's doing at 9 o'clock at night. And quite frankly, given the time of year, there are a lot of days I'm also probably sleeping at that moment as well. So we don't do the social Zoom things that we have frequently invited to or comment on. With that being said, before I go any further, I think it's time for our general evaluator to evaluate the meeting and our general evaluators, or our evaluators for the speeches. Mike, can you take over?
Yes. Good morning again, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our guests. Evaluations, I always feel, when you join Toastmasters, is one of the hardest things to adjust to get used to. That's because it's not natural for most of us to begin criticizing other people, and we think that either it's a small fear or it's just a lack of opportunity. But we do have to be comfortable with offering positive feedback along with the negative. I also want to give credit to our evaluators because I feel like on Zoom versus when we do the hybrid and we have people in person, it's more work on Zoom because as an evaluator, from my own personal experiences, we have to get, you feel like you get more nitpicky, but it is important because we're always trying to improve. That's why we meet every week. That's why everyone comes back and we have such a stable, strong club is because of the fact that we have great evaluators, we have positive feedback. So I want to encourage all of our evaluators to go back and watch everything on YouTube if they want to later, watch their evaluation and just watch previous evaluations from more experienced Toastmasters just to be comfortable with giving positive feedback, but also telling the speaker what they didn't like because it's important to help the speakers grow. With that, I want to thank Madam Toastmaster as well. She was well prepared for the meeting. She facilitated it great. I think she's obviously very knowledgeable and she moved the meeting right along. So with that, I will turn it back to our Madam Toastmaster because I don't have an agenda in front of me or else I would call for a report. So I will turn the meeting over back to our Madam Toastmaster.
And I do have the agenda, so I'm going to go in reverse order because I do want to give everyone the last chance to use the word sustain, sustainability, or however you like to do it. So Tracy, sorry, you're going last. So let's start with our quiz master. Eric, do you have 3 or 5 questions for us?
Oh boy, do I ever. Madam Toastmaster, all right, everybody? Everybody got your listening ears on, their thinking caps on. That's that old saying from elementary school. I'll want to piggyback real quick. My gym teacher used to say, "Get those earwax out of your ears." So that's the old saying goes. But anyway,
What question?
first question. What was in the Jiffy Mart that David talked about in Table Topics? What was that comics? What type of comics were there?
Sci-fi.
Thank you. What type of tree or shrub did Marty talked about in this speech?
Boxwood.
Boxwoods. Oh,
What are the names of the pets that Darcy mentioned in her speech?
Smith and Wesson.
Those are very good names there, Darcy. Very good speech, by the way. One more. And what was the quote that Jill mentioned today? What quote did she mention? So I may have wrote it wrong.
It came from the Farmer's Almanac.
Very good. All right. That's all I have, ma'am, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. How about our ahs and ums? Steve, how about telling us how we did?
Okay, I just got back on. My computer decided to have some fun with me and dump out. I heard most of the meeting.
Oh, so we did real well.
And what I did here, yes, you did. I'm not going to call anybody by name. There were two people who had multiple ahs and ums. But other than that, I only heard a smattering of them throughout. So, yes, for what I did here, we did very well today. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Kate, how about a grammarian's report?
Happy to. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I didn't hear a lot of weak language today, also not a lot of strong language. We were kind of in the neutral territory for much of today. Steve, you threw in some excellent vocabulary, finite and viable, and that was in table topics, which isn't always a simple thing. Great work from everybody, but I would remind us to enunciate. The words that I heard most frequently, I wouldn't have thought that sustainability was the word of the day. I would have thought that wanna or gonna. Cause, gotta, gonna, wanna, gonna. A lot of those. So please enunciate. It adds to your credibility as speakers. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you very much, Kate. And Tracy, how about sustainability?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And I have to agree with Kate. I don't think sustainability was the word of the day either. Besides our table topics masters, I only heard Darcy, Kate, Joe said it once, and our Toastmaster had said it. Beyond that, I didn't hear our word. And we need to be sustainable, people.
All right.
Toastmaster.
So before we go on to the important part of the day, the awards, Nicole, would you like to share with us what you thought of our meeting?
He had to step away for other reasons, but he enjoyed the meeting this morning. Just wanted
Okay, great. Thank you, Eric, for filling in. And I'm looking here. I do not see it. Len, did you send everything to the officer of the day? Or
I
is there
did.
anything
I
else?
sent it to you and also to Maggie.
Okay, I will check my chat again. Up there it is. Before I go on, and if everyone wants to unmute, does anyone have any questions about what's going on in the farm? Or if you would like this topic again and you want me to answer questions throughout the day, that's my next time I'm Toastmaster. I'm thinking I'll have everybody send me their questions about our farm, and then I will spend the day answering them. In any case, our winners, table topics today, Mike Florio. So congratulations to Mike. Our best evaluator, Beth Banks. And our best speaker was Darcy Colby. So thank you all for participating that way. Our Toastmaster next week is Steve Smith. Steve, do you have a topic yet?
No, I don't.
Okay. Our three speakers are Eric Schneider, Beth Banks, and David Jones. So please, as my three speakers did, which was very, very helpful, fill in that part of the agenda. And if there's nothing else, I will turn it back to our officer of the day, Maggie Craig.
Hi, good morning. Again, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I just wanted to say a little bit about sustainable farming. I moved to a little hobby farm 3 years ago and found some old plants that had just been on the property. In the last 3 years, I have taken my little tiny leftover garlics that were in the ground and turned them into, this year, about 300 beautiful heads of garlic, growing horseradish, making maple syrup from my trees, everything that I've been doing on. Sorry?
You just had an echo. Go ahead.
Oh, everything that I've been doing on the property has, I would call it sustainable because I've just been finding what's here and then getting it to grow back again. Cherries and berries and apples and maple syrup and garlic and horseradish and rhubarb and many, many flowers. And I'm having a wild, wonderful ride. And this year I planted an amazing garden, and it's going crazy because I put a sprinkler system. With all this hot weather, I just am having such a great time with it. So on that note, now that you know what I'm doing as a farmer, and I have so much to learn, and Margot, I'll take any hints on how to be a good farmer any day. And Marty, I see, is gone, but thank you for the spray for the boxwoods, because I did have boxwoods that died when I first got here. And on that note, I will adjourn the meeting. Unless anybody else has anything to add on farming, if you want to have a note, something personal. No?
I have something.
Please, Dave.
I wish to apologize to our Niagara Falls natives, Dr. Stevens, Carol Ann, Sylvia. It's tough enough to grow up in Niagara Falls and be from Niagara Falls, and then you find out that Michael's restaurant burned down. My heart goes out to you.
Yeah, I think Margot did a great job today. If I could add,
anyone else?
yeah,
Before I
yeah.
adjourn this meeting?
Yes, I think Margot did a great job. I went to the fair last night, and you see all the farmers out there with their tractors, and I wish I had one of those nice tractors. I have my little tractor, but I always want to maybe possibly upgrade. But I ran into one of my son's friends, Jake, his name is, and maybe you know him. They have a 2,100-acre farm on Hess Road, and we talked farming, and I asked him, I said, do you know Margot Bittner? He goes, oh yeah, we know the Bittner family. And so he knows your husband too. I can't remember his last name. He wrestled with my son in Newfane, and a big, strong kid. And I go, wow, and we just talked about it. And I feel so glad that we live in this Western New York, Southern Ontario area where we got these two big, huge lakes. It's very fertile land. And it's a gift, really. It's a gift to be here, because you hear so much about other parts of the country where, okay, our weather might not be the greatest, but I think because of the water and the rain and where we're at in the soil, we have this great gift and we use it. And Margot, is wonderful to learn more about this. So thank you.
Glad to do it. And just remember, we'll always have food because of those two lakes.
Yeah, exactly. We're fresh water here.
Yep.
I think, in 30 years from now, they won't be fighting over the seeds that are locked down in the ground. They might be fighting over the water, though, that we have right here in our backyard. So we're kind of blessed to have that. That's I'm off my soapbox.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. I do want to say something. This is more of a question. Did anybody else have their audio and video staggering this morning? Like, I missed some things. Anyone? So it's a personal. Okay, that's my internet. It was very difficult in this when I started out this morning. Things were just stopping and starting, and I could hear and not hear, and so anyway, I hear something again.
This is Kate. I'll make a quick announcement. It's July 31st, everybody. Holy moly, August is right around the corner. So we'll plan for an August officers meeting coming up. Thank you, Zoom Master, for pinning me. And also, as Yang spoke during her icebreaker last week about August 10th's Asian American Festival that she helps coordinate. So August 10th, I'll be emailing you about kind of a big social day planned for the afternoon in Buffalo to go to the Asian American Fest. That's a lot of culture and foods. And then that evening end at Shakespeare in the Park. So maybe we can pack up an Asian picnic and get some goodies at the Asian Festival, enjoy ourselves for the afternoon, and then head over to the Rose Garden in Delaware Park for Richard III. So that is Sunday, August 10th. Sunday, August 10th. Same date. It's a Sunday. And then we're still working on the DTM celebration of Marty and Tracy. It may have to wait until the fall. Everyone's so busy in the summertime. That's definitely on deck. And also, we're just 3 weeks away from our international conference in Philadelphia. So that's right around the corner as well. And that's all I have for now. Back to you, Maggie.
I have something. And this is for Margot. Margot, have you ever watched Looney Tunes?
I am 67 years old. Yes, I have watched Looney Tunes, dear.
There was you ever remember Duck-a-Muck, the cartoon?
Probably. It's pretty bad when my dad and I sit down and start saying the lines before Bugs Bunny and the other characters, so most likely.
Oh, hold on. I got one for you.
Cheers. My God, my blade. Hey, psst. Whoever's in charge here. The scenery. Where's the scenery? Stand back, musketeers. They shall sample my blade. Okay, have it your way. Daffy Duck, he had a farm, E-I-A-I-O. And on this farm he had an igloo, E-I-E-I-O. Would it be too much to ask if we could make up our minds?
Thank you, Eric.
Classic.
Thank you for that. Eric, do you have something more to say, I hope, maybe, about the table topics and what date we're going to have the competition in our club?
Oh, give me
Well, they weren't saying that we're doing that in the fall. They weren't adding that to like be a special thing, or did they? Because
It's in the... Go ahead. It's in September, I believe.
Oh, well, they didn't. Okay, that's something that they haven't added that back in a while, that it would be twice a year. The last like 5 years, it's been January at the club level. But if they're adding
we are rehearsing it in the other club, and that's with Avis, and she said it's September.
According to what I was told by District Director Jillian, and also from Jeanette, who is our Club Growth Director, November 22nd is the Tall Tales Contest.
And that's for the district?
I believe, yeah. It's
working back, they're going to do the whole debate. We have to work some things out then on that, because they haven't thrown us a fall one since pre-COVID times. So we'll have to work on if we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, what we want to do for that. And then it doesn't go to the conference level, but let's do that at an officer meeting and then figure out if we're going to do it, if we want to do it, and all those details.
Yeah, because it says May 1st is the District 65 contest, and it will be the humorous contest as well.
But sorry, my internet cut out again. Are you saying, Eric, that did you say there's nothing in the fall, or there is?
There is.
Yes, okay. Good. Okay,
And May
good.
fir-
So,
and we say May 1st is the District 65 conference, and it will also be the humorous contest on that day,
right. Okay.
according to Jeanette.
That's what I heard as well in our other meeting. So that seems accurate. So
thank you for letting us know about that. And Eric also put in the Toastmaster for next week in the chat.
Yeah, Marco announced it.
So everything's set.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. And if no one else has anything to say, I think we will adjourn the meeting